Hello everybody. Hopefully you can see and or hear me. Welcome. Welcome to the Joy of Coding episode 6. We're going to be hacking on some Firefox bugs today, or a bug today. We're also going to be reviewing a little bit of code. I kind of have an agenda. We're also streaming in 1080p, so hopefully that's working. Got some. Oh, and I've got some communications here. Lots of good stuff's coming up. I'm really excited for this episode. Let's talk about what we're going to do. So today, again, my customary reminder: no plan survives breakfast. I mean, even just now, I just got an IRC message that's kind of going to derail me because I kind of have to follow up on a thing. So you'll get to watch me have an IRC message or an IRC communication with another developer, which might be interesting to you. And what else? Right, so we are streaming in 1080p. Hopefully you're getting this in 1080p. If not, we're in live hacking. You can help report problems with the stream or anything in the live hacking channel, or just discuss things. You can talk to me, although that's going to potentially derail the stream as well, but I'm in there as well. So based on feedback, today I'm going to try and do a little bit of code review and a bit of hacking today as well. I did mostly code review last week. I think it was all code review last week. This week I'm going to do a bit of a mix. But first, I have to help out Stephen Hoylander because he asked for help on a thing just a couple of minutes ago. So I'm going to go help him with that, and I'll show you what I'm going to do because being helpful is way more interesting than being not helpful. And after that, I have some reviews I need to do, and then I will, I guess I will work on this bug here, which I will explain what that's all about when we get there. So first, let me just tell Felipe, who contacted me, that I will be with him in a second. I'll be with you in a second. I'm going to help out with Steven's thing first, and then I will get back to Felipe. So, what Steven needs from me is, Steven is one of our top designers, one of the best designers I've ever worked with. He's works on making Firefox look beautiful. And he landed a patch to fix some of the assets for tabs. This was in bug 1143.057. He changed some of the tab outline graphics. And it was just, like, if you look at the patch, it's just a straight asset swap. This is just binary swapping in data, replacing data. And the problem is that it triggered a performance regression. We have a suite of tests that make sure that Firefox continues to be snappy when we land stuff, and apparently there was a 12% regression in the TSVGR opacity test. That tests like SVG graphics in Gecko. There was a 12% regression there on Ubuntu 32-bit, on non-PGO builds. And it identified, it potentially identified, and I say potentially because this thing's, like, sometimes our tests are really noisy, and sometimes it can blame the wrong patch, but it seems to have blamed Steven's patch for the performance regression. So, what Joel Marr, one of the our top Talos tests, Talos is the name of the performance suite that we use, Joel works on Talos and helps manage performance regressions, and he was saying that one thing we could do is push two builds to try, or two changes to try. One, just like a baseline push to try that we can test against, and then the other one will back out Steven's patch. And then we'll do a comparison between the two to see if there is a performance boost with Steven's patch backed out. And if that's the case, then we can be absolutely certain that Steven's patch is causing regression, and then we can start investigating what it might be doing. But first we have to make sure that Steven's patch is actually causing regression before we start going down the road of investigating why. So, Steven, I don't believe, has commit privileges to try, or if he does, he's not, I mean, I don't think he spends most of his time using Mercurial, and I don't really blame him. He has asked me to push these things to try, so I'm going to do that for him. So, I'm going to switch to my terminal here. Do I have anything on the go? Let me just make sure that my tree is clean. Use some CPU. Yeah, I've been messing around with some stuff. I'm going to commit that as just sort of like temporary work. So this is for the plugin stuff that we'll be dealing with later. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm not even showing you my screen. I should be showing you my screen. Sorry, folks. You should have been. Someone should have pinged me. I didn't even realize that I hadn't switched to my screen yet. I apologize. That must have been really boring. You're just looking at my face that whole time. I apologize. This was the agenda. This is all the stuff you missed. I was basically looking at this, and then I've been looking at this bug. Holy smokes. I apologize. Luckily, I looked at OBS and saw what I was doing. Anyway, so, excuse me. Let me just commit this work that I've been doing for this plugin thing, and we'll get to Stephen's request. Everyone was enjoying the new set decor, says Richard. Yeah, I'm in a meeting room right now because there's like an event going on in the community space, and there's also some construction going on in our building, so I've had to move locations temporarily this week. Okay, so I'm just going to call this temporary plugin UI work. Let's get around that, and then I will check out. I guess we'll use this commit up here. This is relatively recent pull from Mozilla Central, so I can just base off of that. So I'll check that out. And I can just straight up push this to try, and then I will back out Stephen's patch and also push that to try and make sure that I run the Talos test that he regressed on. So that test is TSVGR opacity. And we have this tool called Try Chooser that allows us to choose. Oh, and it was also on Ubuntu 32-bit. This was on March 16th. So this, actually, I don't know if I better make sure that I actually have his commit in here, because I might actually have to pull if I haven't pulled too recently. I might not be able to back him out if I don't actually have the commit. So let me get the commit ID. I probably have it. I think I pulled yesterday. So yes, yes, I have it right here. So what I will do then is choose Linux, and we will do only Talos tests. Now the SVGR tests are under here, so I only have to do those. It was only opt builds. I think we don't. I don't think we do performance tests on debug builds because that doesn't make any sense. Debug builds are inherently slow, so I'm pretty sure this is opt only. So I'll be doing try build opt only on a Linux 32-bit, no Moki tests, just the TSVGR Talos test, and I think that's all we need. So this is the syntax I will use in the commit message to have try build this particular build a build. So where am I in the tree? I'm right here at this commit. I need to put a commit on top with this commit message. So you're not supposed to use mercurial queues anymore, but I use them for these sort of temporary commits for try chooser messages, because it's an empty patch and I can just swap out the commit message and then just pop it back off. This isn't, I mean, if GPS was watching this, he'd probably he'd shed tears. But that's okay. That's okay for now. So I will push this to try. Or try. That should work. Oh, I have to pass. I have to pass -F. For some reason, Control back didn't work, so I have to manually cursor back. But I have to force push this, I believe, to try. Because I'm going to be creating a new head. That's okay. It's the try server. That's how it works. So that's pushing to try. The tree is closed. Oh boy, I should have checked the tree. That's hilarious. So what's wrong with the tree right now? How anticlimactic. I apologize. That was unexpected. The URL. Why is the tree closed? The tree is closed because of high HG web load. Okay, well, what I will do is I have this add-on here that will alert me when the tree opens and closes. Right now it's pointing at Mozilla Inbound. I'm going to change it to switch to try. That's Mozilla tree status. I think it's on addons.mozilla.org if that's a thing you want to use. I'm going to switch it to try, and then it will alert me whenever this will turn green, and it will like give me a little notification when the tree opens. So until that happens, I can't really do what I wanted to do with Stephen's patch. I will pop that off. I can use it later, and I will tell Stephen that the tree is closed, and I will push his stuff later. The try tree is closed. I'll have to push later. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is talk to Felipe, who had just come back to me with a conversation. So I haven't done this before. This is something that Mike Hoy, another fellow at Mozilla, had requested that I do, is to like actually have a conversation in IRC and have that be like visible, so you can see me having a conversation, so that you know that like sometimes developers have to ask for help in IRC. I've been hesitant about that because like I don't want people's conversations to necessarily be streamed over the internet without their knowledge. So what I've done is I've changed my nick to mconley live hacking. Hopefully that's enough advance notice. I've cleared the backlog of the FX team channel, and now I'm going to drag my IRC client over. This is a public channel anyways, so I don't think it's too big a deal, but I am really conscious of people's privacy, and I don't want anyone to be put out. But I'm going to talk to Felipe now. Is still there? Did that happen? That is my IRC client just totally busted? Why didn't that work? I wonder if my dragging it over had something to do with it. Or, well, I'll do it in here. I'll do it in Hashi10s because for some reason I think I just broke my IRC client's FX team channel. Okay, it's still there. And so much for clearing out the back channel. It's all public. It's IRC, they're unencrypted channels, and these are open channels. You can actually join us in Hashi10s if you want to join in on this conversation. And we're also in Hash Live Hacking if you want to talk with me. So, now I'm asking Felipe if he's still there, and the reason I'm asking him that is because I need his help. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I'm actually going to move this Shorelander thing, Stephen Horlander thing towards the end if the tree is open. So I'm actually moving down here for just a quick second because of this conversation with Felipe, but basically I'm working on making it so that the plugin crash submit UI works with electrolysis or multi-process Firefox. If you're interested in reading up on my progress so far on that, you can read the bug. There's a link, so if you scroll down in this video, if you're viewing it on Air Mozilla, if you scroll down, there's a link in the comments to what I call the agenda. That's basically a copy of this document. And there is a link to the bug report as well as my notes on the bug. Pretty copious notes. That's this. That's a copy of this, which is like all of my notes as I'm working on it. So that might be interesting to you. But what I need to do is test a whole bunch of different types of plugins. And there are actually a number of plugin types. There are NP API plugins, which are like Flash and Java. But then we also have this new type of plugin. And I know we're supposed to be eliminating plugins. That's definitely a thing that Mozilla is attempting to do. But there's this thing called a Gecko Media plugin, or GMP for short. And it's like a very low-powered plugin, purely for like encrypted media decryption. So things like Netflix and all of your wacky video streaming stuff that we have to use decryption modules. The way we do that is inside this GMP, or a Gecko Media plugin, and that helps to sort of. There are a number of reasons that we do that, but one of the primary reasons is so that we can make sure that any of that decryption code that we're downloading runs in a sandbox, a very protected, low-powered sandbox, so that it's not possible or it's very difficult for that binary code to somehow compromise the user or figure out who the user is, or all sorts of things. We try and protect the user there. So, on and off, but I can reply async, says Felipe. Okay, so let me the reason I need Felipe's help is I need to be able to test these GMP plugins. I need to see what it's like whenever we crash a GMP plugin. So, and I know Felipe worked on that stuff, but I don't know actually how to simulate it. I don't know how to run that test of crashing a GMP plugin. So I'm asking his help on how to do that. And apparently he's going to be on and off for the next hour. This can happen in IRC. Well, that's one of the beautiful things of IRC, actually, is that I can ask him for his help, and then I can go away and do like that code review stuff that I want to do, and then he can come back to me with answers. Okay, cool. First off, while I've got the live hacking suffix, just note that my conversation is likely being streamed to Aaron Mozilla. Sorry about that, and hope it's not an imposition. Wave to the camera! Secondly, I'm working on bug. What was the bug number? Bug 1110887. And I'm trying to wrap my head around GMP. I don't want to say GMP plugin because the P in GMP is for plugin. So GMP crashes. I know you worked on bug. What is it? These I don't need anymore. This is the bug that he worked on. Felipe says, "Hi everyone," and he waves. I know you worked on bug 1009760, and I need help triggering a GMP crash locally so I can trace through what happens. So I'm kind of a GMP noob, like a total GMP noob. I don't actually know how on OS X, because it's possible that we only use GMP on Windows. I have no idea. I don't really know GMP. I actually know how on OS X to use a GMP plugin. Does it run inside a plugin container like Flash? I assume it does. How do I spawn a GMP plugin container? Like, is there a page I can go to with a video that will make this happen, make me use GMP? Or is there some kind of WebRTC thing I should do? Because it looks like GMP is sometimes used for WebRTC too. And I'm pretty confused. So, let's wait for, hopefully Felipe kind of understands what I'm asking for. Hopefully he'll get back to me. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for him to sort of compute and answer, he might have more questions for me, we'll see. But now I can sort of go back, track back a little bit, and go over to reviews. So, I have a couple of bugs. I actually have a whole humongous stack of patches I need to review, but I've chosen two that I think wouldn't take up the entirety of this live hacking session. If you're interested in knowing more about how I review patches, you might want to see the last episode if you didn't watch it. Episode 5, there's a link to it in the agenda. That's all I did last week was review patches, and so that might be interesting to you. And at the very beginning of it, I talk about like how I go about reviewing a patch and like what I look for and that sort of thing. It's kind of loosey-goosey, but I sort of outline my approach to it. Anyway, this is one of the patches I need to review in here, and there's another one here, so I'll open these up in 2 tabs. So if you saw me review patches last week, you probably recognize this fellow, Ian Moody. He's a volunteer contributor, came in to help me and the rest of the ETNS team get rid of a whole bunch of unsafe Kapow usage warnings in the browser console. Again, if you're curious to know what those words I just said were, last week's episode might be interesting to you. I think it's one of the first patches I reviewed is one of Mozian's to do the same thing, and that video, I'm pretty sure, refers to my blog post about unsafe Kapow usage. If you're interested in what unsafe Kapow usage even means, I don't really want to go into it right now because it's a very long topic. But if you go to my blog, I have a blog post about unsafe Kapow usage that might be interesting for you. So you can check that out. In the meantime, Ian has... Oh, someone has come back to me with... So Jessup, who is not Felipe, has a tip for me to open a plugin container. Check require H.264, and that will use GMP for the Open H.264 plugin. So this is good. Actually, when I work on that bug, the machinery is not fully set up yet, so I don't know that myself either. We implemented the bug assuming the platform would send the expected notification on a crash. Interesting. So it sounds like this stuff... Okay, there's also a test of the fake GMP plugin in DOM media test smoke test. This is all very useful information. I'm going to extract it and put it into my notes here. If you've noticed, I hop around a lot. Like we were just about to review a patch and then this conversation occurred. I'm very event-driven. I context switch a lot. That's what these notes help me do, is they help me context switch. I hope that's not annoying for you, but that's how I operate. Okay, excellent. That might be enough information. What's particularly interesting is Felipe saying that this stuff that they wrote in bug 1009760 hooked up the crash reporting for GMP plugins, but it did the job before the platform was even ready for it. So it's I don't know if this stuff's been like actually tested. GMP plugins are still kind of in the works, so it's possible that it doesn't actually work. So that would be interesting, because then maybe I could make making this plugin crash submit UI work for E10S. Maybe I can fix the GMP plugin case while I'm at it. At the very least, I need to understand it in order to move forward. Okay, so let's step back for a second. What am I going to do? I am going to open up I'm going to open up a browser. I've said thank you to Jessup and Felipe. Always thank your fellow developers when they help you out. If you're hearing applause in the background, that's the event going on in the other room. So what did they say? They said to go to this address and check require H.264. So let's go to that address. Okay. Okay. So now you can see my face. That's interesting. So do we have, the question now is, do we have a H.264 or Gecko Media plugin container running? And the way I can find that out is by looking at the process list in the activity monitor. You can do this on OS X. Nightly web content, I have a plugin container. I don't see a plugin container. What would it be called? Image capture. VPN, that's OBS. Sublime text. Virtual box. Interesting. So I don't actually see that process. Would it be called like GMP something? It's GPG. So maybe I did it wrong. Okay, well, I'll keep this open for a second. Let's stop. Require H.264 video. And now let me take a look at my, here, always activate. So hold up, Jessup. Hey, so I've done that, and at least on OS X, I'm not seeing a plugin container process. Am I doing something wrong? Because that's very possible. Jessup is like probably one of the, I think he's like head developer, like he's brilliant, and he's working on this like loop stuff and WebRTC and media and plugins, a lot of video and audio stuff. Really, really cool stuff. He really knows what he's doing, so he should be able to help me out here. So because I know that he knows what he's talking about, I assume that I am doing something wrong. Because that's the more likely case, is that for some reason I am failing to have the plugin open. Although, I'm in an E10S browser. What if I do this in a non-E10S browser? For some reason, all my windows open up on my other display. Sorry about that. So I will do this here. Sure. This is slightly different than what I had before, and maybe that's the difference. Plugin container. Do I have a plugin container? I don't have a plugin container. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Now, if I crash this, what happens? Boom! That's exactly what I wanted. Okay. Oh, I got it. I just needed to do it in a non-E10S browser. So I was right. I was doing something wrong. And so this is good. What happens, this is what I was really interested in. We don't actually show a UI for the plugin crashing. We show, like, we don't do it over here. We do it in the browser Chrome. We don't do it in content like we do with, say, when Flash crashes. We usually like put this little sad Lego brick here, and oh, you can see me. I forgot you can still see me. Luckily, I didn't like pick my nose or something. We usually show like a sad Lego brick and maybe a little text input that allows you to tell us about, you know, what you were doing before the crash, and then allow you to send a crash report. But we don't do that with Gecko Media plugins, it looks like. Because technically this is not the plugin. This is a video element. This is like straight up HTML video element. Pretty sure, yeah, it's a video element that's making use of a plugin, and that's running in the background in a different process. And then when that crashes, the video ceases to work properly, and then we get this notification. That's very interesting. Okay, so what am I going to do? Let me take a note. Let me take a note. Note that, so this works. To reproduce the issue and to have a GMP open in a plugin container. But note that this must be done outside of E10S. Now, even though I'm working to make plugin crash UI work with E10S, I definitely have to make sure that anything that works with, like any of the plugin crash stuff for non-E10S still works. Like, I definitely can't regress non-E10S because that will, I mean, we'll be shipping this code, like Mozilla Central, whatever is on Mozilla Central right now, which I think is Firefox 39. That will probably not have E10S enabled by default. I'm like 99% certain it won't. And so whatever I land on there definitely can't regress any non-E10S behavior. Otherwise, we're shipping broken code. So this is good. Good to know. So I have enough information to actually proceed here, and that's what I needed. So I think my conversation is done. And thank everyone again, and now we can go back to our regularly scheduled code reviewing, because I got the information I needed and I can proceed now on that other stuff when we get to it. So, great. Great, great, great. I just checked and the try tree is still closed. I haven't gotten a notification yet. So that was a demonstration of what one does in IRC to get information. What was that? Right, code review. Code review. Close. Don't need that. Need this. Just going to take a drink of water because I'm doing a lot of talking. Okay. So he's getting rid of unsafe capal usage in front-end code, particularly in the context menu for these, like, when we right-click on a link, you can do save link as and bookmark this link, and that will cause unsafe capal usage warnings in the browser console, which means that we're like synchronously communicating with the content process, and we shouldn't be doing that. So he's got a patch to not do that. I made the mistake last week of not reading the bug before I started the review, and that way I failed to realize that it actually depends on some other stuff. Like right now, I realize that this depends on another bug, and if I tried to apply this patch and test it, which I will do in the course of my reviewing it, it would probably not work properly, or it wouldn't apply cleanly because it likely depends on the changes in this bug. So this one actually doesn't have a patch. Okay. So it depends on that, but it like there's no patch there. So this, I don't really understand what that means, but I guess that I guess this should apply cleanly. Let's just check. Let's see what happens. So I can shut down this instance of Firefox that I have running. Bye. And let's see here. I'm on this chunk right here. I'm going to import Ian's patch. Mouse Ian's patch. Will it apply cleanly? Oh, almost. So close. Let's see how bad. Let's see how bad the not applying is. It's not so bad. Okay. So I can probably hand apply it. Assuming it doesn't like really depend on something that's in another patch, we should be okay here. So what did he do? He was down in bookmark link. He got rid of this stuff. He just replaced it with this. So I will do this. Paste it over here. And then just going to double check, make sure these match. Yep, okay. So I can get rid of that. And that should be what he meant. Assuming that, like, I haven't accidentally, assuming that it didn't actually depend on something in some other bug somewhere. And if that's the case, well, then I better find that and reapply this patch. So I'm committing, and I will build. And then while I'm waiting for the build to complete, I will inspect the patch. Holy smokes. Mercurial. I love you, Mercurial, but sometimes it's pretty slow. So, build. And now we'll look at what he's doing. So, store the value of link text that is calculated during NS context menu init and reuse it later rather than recalculating it. I think I recognize this. Did I review this before? So it turns out that link text is already being calculated when initting the menu. In the plain text case, because it needs the text to even work out if it's a link, and in the actual link case, format search context item doesn't. Me doing all the tree walk. I thought doing all the tree walking gather text under during init instead of using messages when needed would have been too expensive for fixing this, since it was already being done anyway. May as well keep it. This won't fix all the warnings in the save link case bug 1140859 is for the rest. Okay. Aha, so this might be, this is more a note to, it's more of a note to himself, but he figures he's going to clobber himself. Or whoever, I guess, yeah, he's been assigned this one. He hasn't got full review on it yet. What's this way? Yeah, he's just waiting on some review from, or no, he's waiting on neat info from Bilski. So let's see if we can figure out what this patch is doing. Let's take a look at it. Woo! So one of the problems with Splinter, this is Splinter in Bugzilla, which is the old code review tool, is that I can't like get context. I can't see like he's saying this dot link text equals link text. Well, what is link text? I don't actually know. I need to like see what link text is. So in review board we could like expand up and find out what link text is in the scope, but I don't have review board, so I guess what I'll do, oh no, I didn't even put that. What I'll do is I will open up in DXR NS context menu.js, We look for link text. Aha. Aha. Open items. So the bad thing is that this is still the result of an unsafe capal usage. We're like getting the selection from the window and then turning it into a string, and that's going to require us to communicate with the content processor and get the string. So that's going to be an unsafe capal usage, but I'm pretty sure that's what he was talking about. Like, we're gonna eliminate one usage elsewhere by reusing this usage, and then probably at some point figure out a way of not using this. Basically, we're trying to reduce the number of unsafe capal usage we're doing, but not completely eliminate it in this case. Link text, so he sets the link text as 154 down here. And he only does that if there's a URI and a URI host. What is URI? Let URI. He tries to make a URI. And that might fail silently here. We do a catch-all and just like nothing. He's always freaking me out. What's he doing this on? The reason we're doing this is because we're determining if the text that was selected can be turned into a link. Right. If so, we create this URI object, and if what we have selected is a URI, then we set link text to the link text. Great. I'm pretty sure if I look to see what this is, these are all just the defaults. So 579. This is in the when we set the target of whatever it is that we're right-clicking on, we like clear out and like set a whole bunch of defaults. We initialize the contextual info. And down here, we also set the link text on line 741. Right? There it even is. So that's down here so this is the tree walking he was talking about. Great, tree walking. We do that also in set target. If the target happens to be a link that we're right-clicking. So this is in the case that what we're clicking isn't like some text that can be resolved to a URI. Like I think the idea is something like suppose there's some link and then put the Mozilla.org and I like click it. Is that about I need to mess with it. Maybe I should bust it. That might just be flat out busted in the EasyNest case. Maybe he's fixing it. Woo! Video memory. That's what I get. Alright, Mozilla.org. No, nothing there. Maybe it needs to be not in the text area. Like if I were to select that. I don't know, it's still like, that's still a link element. What I need is like a link element that hasn't been turned into a link. Like, what if I just insert some text? I'll just get rid of this, I'll copy that and then insert some text right there. Yeah, okay, so I think it recognized it properly. It'd be probably better if I moved this somewhere. Like, what are you doing? Like down here. And I can be sure I'm far enough away from this thing. So if I right-click on that, yay, it recognizes it as a link. And does it do that in the E10S case? Great question. Great question, self. Let's insert some stuff. Don't want to press enter. Enter just sort of accepts. There we go. Shift enter. So if I right click, all right, it still works in the E10S case. So that was the first part of this thing. This bit up here that we were looking at before, at line 154, not 1,154. Oh boy, no, up here. Here, we check to see if the text can be resolved to a URI. And that's what that does. Okay, that makes sense. So link text will be set if we happen to be on text that can be resolved to a link. It's either been a link node or it is text that we know can be resolved into a link. Okay, that is what we have learned here. And then if we save the URL of a clicked on link, what we do is we get the doc, which is the target owner document. URL security check, this link URL. Principal, I guess that's just to make sure that we're doing some kind of security thing. I don't exactly remember what this does. And then save helper. We pass the link URL. See, this is what we're skipping. We're skipping, oh good, our build's done so we can test this. Over here we were like re-getting the link text in the plain text case. Here we can just reuse it. So there were two cases here. On plain text link, where we would have to do it ourselves, and then there was this case where we call some kind of method, link text, which he has renamed to get link text. Okay. And that's being called here. Right. Okay. And this function is the same thing. On plain text link is, I guess, the case where like it wasn't a link node, it was just text. Right. In either case, we now have the link text that we can use. So this makes sense. Top place is command hook bookmark link. Yep. Link URL, link text. Okay. Switching var to let. Great. Let's great. So this is text selected. Selected or link text. Formats the search engine for blah blah blah. Context menu. Oh. Now I don't know about this because link text is text selected. Well, I guess it was already doing this. For a reason, I was wondering like why is the case that we check to see if we've selected text and then just like default to link text. But that's what we were doing before anyway, so this, I guess it must be right. So this looks okay to me. What I've done is I've applied his patch. I'm pretty sure it's the one that's on the top of the stack. And now I'm going to, and I've just built it, so now I'm going to test it. And of course, windows open all over the place, including on this other display I've got. Now, I have this, I think I told you about this last week, I have this tool called PKE meter, which is a Ghostbusters reference, but basically anytime I use an unsaved kapow, I hear these clicks. So I'll show you an example. I go to Reddit, and then I close this tab, and I get these clicks. And I actually get some logging in my console here as well. And that way I'm able to detect whenever I'm using unsaved kapows. So with Moz Ian's patch, right-clicking on a link and then save link as, and what was it? What else was it? Save link as and bookmark this link should no longer cause unsaved kapow usage warnings. Now, what I probably should have done was confirm that they did actually cause unsaved kapow usage warnings, but I am 99% sure that they would have, just reading the code. So I don't think it's worth going back and finding out. But what I should do is right-click on some links and try to save them and see if they cause unsafe capacity usage warnings. I'll go to watch people code. Hey, that's me. Right-click. So if I go like bookmark this link, great, I didn't hear any clicks. If I do save link as, so that's causing a bunch of clicks, but I have a feeling that that is unrelated. Unrelated. I have a feeling that we've reduced the number of clicks with Mozine's patch. Yeah, unsafe compile usage. And that's happening where? Make URI from compile. And probably in like the save function, save helper, yeah. And that's something that's going to get fixed later. So I suspect that Ian has actually reduced the number of clicks here, but hasn't completely eliminated them, which is fine. Now, what about the case where we see something that might be a URI that we can just sort of copy and paste? Question. So let's find some text that looks like a link. If we can't find any, let's make some. Can't find any, let's make some. I'll insert one right here. Let's say Mozilla.org. So now there should be a text node in here that has Mozilla.org right there. So I will select it, right click it. Yep, and now I can do bookmark this link. Great, I don't hear any clicks. Save link as, I'll probably hear a bunch. Yep, that's expected. So I feel good about this. Now, that's working well. I feel good. Looking at the code again, I'm trying to think of any like edge cases that we might be missing here. If you see any problems with this code, tell me in #livehacking or tweet at me. Say like, no, don't give it a review plus. There's a problem with it. Help me review the code. Otherwise, this looks good, and I'm going to review plus it. R plus it, as we say. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. This looks good to me. All right, let me say this makes sense to me. Glad to see even more compile, unsafe compile usage warning, reductions. You're on a roll. Ian, thanks so much. Always thank your contributor. So I'm happy about this. I'm going to publish it. I have no complaints. None. No complaints, no critiques. So that's off my plate. That's done being reviewed. What's next? That's not for me. What's the time? It's about 1:45. I wanted to stop around 2:30. I'm wondering if maybe I went a bit long on the preamble and then the review. Maybe I should get working on the plugin thing. I think I'm going to do that. All right, so if you were looking for more code review, I think I'm going to cap it there unless I reach some kind of impasse on the plugin stuff. I'm going to start working on the plugin UI work, and then I might review this stuff later. I have a feeling I'm going to go overboard if I continue to review this next patch, which is, I think, this one. It's going to take me too long, I suspect, because I think it's pretty substantial. Yeah. Well, it's not so bad. No, I'm going to be resilient. I'm not going to review this right now. I'll probably review it this afternoon. I'll be using the same process, but what I'm going to do is work on my other stuff. So, reviewed that. Nope, didn't mean to erase that. There we go. So now we're skipping ahead to here. If you're interested in the history again, I recommend you read the bug, you look at my notes. That's this stuff. I'll be moving forward from here. So, where am I? Let me swap in the information. What was I trying to get at? I was trying to determine if it's possible to get the run ID from a Gecko Media plugin when it crashes. So I have added, as part of my work on this bug, I've added run IDs to plugins. And that's different from process ID. Like, a run ID is something I've added so that we can differentiate plugin instances from, like, let's say I run Flash, and so I open a plugin container. It's an out-of-process plugin container for Flash. And then Flash crashes. And then we open up a new instance of Flash with a new plugin container. Both of those will have distinct run IDs. Now, I know what you're saying. Why don't you just use process IDs? Because that's essentially the same thing. I mean, I'm duplicating that. I'm overloading, no, what's the word I'm looking for? Process IDs already serve to differentiate different runs of the same executable. I know that's true, but the run ID is something I want to consume up at the Chrome level, like the browser front-end level, and something as low-level as a process ID is something that we really try to avoid exposing up to upper-level browser code, because upper-level browser code really doesn't need to know about things like process IDs. Only lower-level stuff really needs to know. We like to do the need-to-know principle. So I added these run IDs here and here. These have not landed yet, but they're part of my series. And I will update to tip. Now what I'm going to do is I have to make sure that my debug build is up to date. This might take a minute or two. And then what I want to do is I want to recreate this crash. I want to crash the GMP plugin, but I want to capture the... Oh, you know what I want to do actually? So I don't want to do a debug build yet. I want to do an optional, because using the browser toolbox in a debug build is painfully slow. And I want to use the browser toolbox to debug the plugin crashed event that I get whenever a Gecko Media plugin crashes, because I want to inspect it and learn about it. The reason I want to do that is because we have this code down here in plugin content.jsm. There's this method called plugin instance crashed, which listens for the plugin crashed event, and there's some stuff in here about, like, there's some special handling of the GMP case. See, we're calling them GMP plugins, even though the P is, that's like Gecko Media plugin. Too many plugin words. We've got special handling in here, and I really need to understand it if I'm going to, because I'm essentially refactoring how plugin crashes are going to be displayed to the user. Maybe I should explain that. While I'm waiting for this to finish building, it shouldn't take too long, I'm going to quickly go over the problem and how we're attempting to solve it. So let me go over the problem, and I'll do it using images. Yeah. Okay, so these are extremely simplified diagrams of how plugins are represented in terms of, like, processes and, like, the IPC actors that communicate with one another. This is up here. This is the simple case, the single process case, like that we ship right now with single process Firefox, where we run plugins like Flash out of process, and we communicate back and forth using IPC. In the multi-process case, it looks more like this, where we have the main process, we have so this is the browser process, we have the content process here, which actually has, like, the Flash object showing you your YouTube video. I guess YouTube doesn't use Flash anymore. It's showing you Homestar Runner or whatever, and it's communicating with the plugin process, which is actually, like, doing the work to, I don't know, render Homestar Runner. Like, there's, like, a bunch of proxying going on. And so this is kind of the relationship diagram. It's not like a very strict, like, I remember using UML and stuff in school. This is not UML, this is just me kind of giving a sense of how everything's organized. Now, the problem that we're trying to solve is when the plugin process, let's pretend we're in this configuration, so we're in E10S, and let's say that this plugin process dies, like it just crashes. Something has gone wrong in our plugin. The way we detect that is that the plugin module Chrome parent and the plugin module content parent both get these methods called on them called actor destroy. And what that means is basically that these pipes that were being used to communicate with this process have unexpectedly closed. I think it's like sig pipe something something, a pipe has closed. And so we call these actor destroys on plugin module Chrome parent, plugin module content parent, and those are called just before the plugin module content parent, plugin module Chrome parent destroy themselves, because they're going to go down whenever this thing goes away. Because having the child, having the parent exist without the child is usually nonsensical. So they take themselves out when the child goes away. So when actor destroy gets called, what happens is in the main process has access to like the profile directory. It's able to go and figure out, oh, is there a crash report? Is it in our crash directories? We'll process the mini dumps that we got from the crashed plugin, and then we get these like unique identifiers for the crashes, and then now we know about the crash reports, and we could like list them inside about crashes, and we can tell the UI, hey, you crashed. Would you like to submit a crash report? That's what the main process knows about, and that's why, like, the plugin crash system, like the crash report UI, will work in single process Firefox, is because the main process, which is also rendering the plugin crash UI, knows about the plugin crash dumps. But in a multi-process case, this process knows about the crash dumps. This process does not, and this is the one that's trying to show the UI. And it goes, well, shit, you know, my actor destroy got called here. I need to show some UI because clearly I crashed. What are my crash dumps? Oh, I don't know about any crash dumps. I guess we don't have any, so we won't show you the plugin crash UI. And so we don't. So right now, if you use Firefox Nightly with E10S enabled, you're using something like Flash or Java or whatever, and that plugin crashes, we do not show the crash submit UI, which means that for a good chunk of our nightly population, we are not getting crash reports being sent in. And that's bad, because crash reports are super, super useful, and they help us to make the browser more stable. So that's bad, and this is why we want to fix this. We want to make the crash UI work. So the challenge is, like originally I was thinking, well, what we can do is we can have, when this goes down, have the main process somehow communicate the crash dump IDs to the content process and then show the UI. But after some talking with some other folks who are smarter than I and know more about the plugin infrastructure, we realized that the content process is really supposed to be treated as hostile. And the less we can tell it, the better. And that's more from a security perspective, because you could be running any sorts of web content in here that can totally own your machine. And this is something that we want to sandbox over time and really restrict its capabilities. And we really don't want to tell it anything it doesn't need to know, anything that could potentially compromise a user's security. So it's a need-to-know basis with the content process. So telling it even something as seems harmless, like the crash dump IDs, we do not want to tell the content process. Instead, what we were thinking is this plugin process dies. This process, the main process, processes the dump IDs, and then whenever it's done, it says, okay, for every plugin module or plugin instance. Every instance of the plugin that has a matching run ID, communicate to the content process saying, the plugin with this run ID just crashed, and either yes, show the crash report UI, or no, do not show the crash report UI. And we'd say yes if like we have actual crash data that we can submit, and no if for some reason we don't have any crash data. And that can happen sometimes. So then the content process goes, okay, and it will set all of its plugins that have a matching run ID to show the crash UI. And then if any of the crash UIs have a crash report submitted on them, we send a message back up to the parent, and we send the run ID and any of the information that the user included as part of their crash report up to the main process, and then the main process is the one that actually sends the crash report. So in that model, the content process never hears about the plugin dump IDs. It just hears from the main process that a plugin with a run ID of this crashed. What are we going to do about it? Whew, that's a lot of talking. And where did we get here? Oh, I'm going to fail out here. This build is not going to work. I just noticed here that I must have screwed up somehow in some of my code, and this build is going to fail. Why would that be? NS object loading content line 704. That's where I just was. Why? Why would you be failing out? Line 704. And script requested will be initialized after field run ID. Error. Field M script requested will be initialized after field M run ID. Is that a serious problem? I don't get it. Why would that be a problem? Maybe it doesn't like the fact that this is not a Boolean. Maybe it wants me to move this up here. I don't know why that's a problem now. This built just fine earlier. But that's a guess. I'm making a guess. Let's see if we can build now. You know, I was only doing debug builds. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Why is this so special? Okay, so what if I move this here? Huh. Is that better? Yes, it's apparently better. I have no idea why mScript requested is so special. Maybe we define it in a special way. I have no idea. Maybe it's because we have to like initialize them in the same order that they're defined here. That might make sense. It's been a while since I've taken a course in C++, and I forget some of the rules sometimes. Did I just happen to magically get the order right? I think I did. And I linked properly. Wow. Okay, well, let's finish this build. Let's just make sure everything's built properly. What was I saying before? While I'm waiting for that, is there anything else I wanted to say? Yeah, so in the Gecko Media plugin case, what am I trying to say here? What am I worried about? So when the main process says, I've like looked at some crash IDs, okay, content process, tell everybody that a bunch of your plugins crashed with this run ID. The way I do that is the content process is able to like walk through every instance of like every plugin and ask it for their run IDs. I've exposed the run ID on the NSI object loading content interface so that our Chrome code can like examine every plugin and say, do you have a matching run ID? And the answer is hopefully yes for the ones that match, and then we can put them in the crash state. But the problem is in a Gecko Media plugin, I don't think there is an object loading content for them. They run like they're not embedded in the UI. Like I said, they kind of run in the background. It's something that the video element talks to. So there's not really going to be any UI to display, but we do want to show that like notification bar at the top. So I have to figure out how that's going to kind of play into things, because we still want that notification bar to display at the top. So have to make sure that that's still going to work. Where are we in the build? We're right at the end. I'm pretty confident we're done the linking stuff pretty much. Yeah. Or wait, no, I don't think we've linked yet. But that's probably what this step is. Linking always takes forever. We're almost done. So yeah, the question I'm trying to answer is, what does the event, the plugin crashed event, look like whenever a GMP plugin dies? And how does that fit into our plan of sending down a message from the main process about plugins with a particular run ID being dead? Because before we had the plugin crash, like the way we reacted to plugin crashes was that every element, every instance of a plugin that crashed would bubble up this event called plugin crash. We can't really do that anymore because we used to be able to do it because in the main process case, you only fired that event when you were done processing the mini dumps, and so the content would know, okay, I have a mini dump, okay, I don't have a mini dump, and it can choose whether or not to show the plugin crash UI. But in this case, because the processing is occurring up here and the events fire down here, like that happens simultaneously. We can fire those plugin crashed events, but it's possible that the main process is still figuring out whether or not we have mini dumps, and so those plugin crashed events aren't really useful anymore. And I know what you're thinking, well, why don't we just like wait on the main process, like we have it ask the main process, do you have a plugin ID yet? And it's because we don't want to send or plugin ID. Do you have a crash report yet? But we just don't want to send down those dump IDs straight. Like that is absolutely what we don't want to do. We just want to use these run IDs. So we're inverting the model. Instead of bubbling up and putting everyone in the crash state, we are sending a message down and then like imposing a crash state on all the plugins from the top down as opposed to the bottom up. It's top down now. Is the plan. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, we're done here. So I can run this now, and I want to follow these steps that we were doing before. I guess I can't use E10S because that's going to be a pain in the butt. But we can't use E10S because the GMP plugin just flat out does not work. So we will require H.264 video. Let's start. And I'll share my camera. Hey, what's up? And we should see, what do I want to do? I want to set a debug breakpoint. This is turning different colors. That's very strange. Now it's like a magenta. Now it's turning red. What even is? What, orange? Why? Okay, so I want to set a breakpoint. First of all, I have to load all the source from the browser toolbox is starting. Come on now. Here we go. Alright. We've got all the information we need. I want plugin content.jsm. And there's this function plugin instance crashed. Here we are. Boom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crash this plugin. The plugin that so again, this is not the plugin. This is just a video element that is using a Gecko Media plugin in order to decode the video. So just that's more for me. You probably already remembered that, but I did not remember that. Apparently, I'm running 3 copies of nightly. Oh yeah, one of them is the debugger. So now I'm going to kill my plugin container. Force quit, and that will cause me to hit this breakpoint, which I did. Now let's take a look at what this event is. It's the plugin crashed event. And what is the target? It's the window. The target is the window. Current target. Content message manager, right? That's who we are. And I don't think we can. So the problem with this is that we can't resolve this plugin crash to a dump ID. Like a event, plugin crashed, or dump ID. That's not right. We can't resolve it to a run ID unless we include it in the event itself, which we might have to do. That's what I'm thinking we might have to do. In order to account for the GMP case. Let me just think for a second. For the GMP case, we will never be showing UI, like inline UI for Oh, hold on. Thinking. Okay, I'm going to think out loud. In the GMP case, we will never show inline plugins. We're only using it to like decode video or encode video or something. Hey, try is open. I can do that thing for Steven. Let's not get distracted though. I'll get there in a second. And the only place we would ever show UI is as a notification bar in the main process. That will occur in the main process. So I actually don't think that plugin content needs to do anything in this case. Like what we need to be able to do is have the main process know that the GMP died, and then just straight up show the notification bar. And I think we can do that. There's a GMP plugin is true. That's useful. So, like in the parent process, before this plugin crashed event ever gets fired, there's this observer notification that's fired called plugin-crashed. Right? I think I talked about it before in my notes. Yeah, it's in here somewhere. Plugin crashed. Yes. If it can pass up whether or not what crashed was a GMP plugin, that might be useful. That way, the notification can go directly to the parent. The parent will hear about it. We don't have to worry about sending a message down to the child to change any of the UI or anything. We just show the crash report notification in the parent, and Bob's your uncle. Okay, let me write that down. That sounds like actually a plausible plan. How do I get the run ID from a GMP? I'm going to change this question. What do we do about GMP plugins? Or instead of a question, a task. Determine what to do about Gecko Media plugins. So I have to. I made an assumption. I assume that GMPs never display inline like Flash or Java. Assuming this is true, and I need to verify that assumption. So verify that GMP never displays inline. Assuming this is true, then when a GMP plugin container crashes, the main process will have the plugin crashed observer notification called on it. If that observer notification can tell us that it was a GMP that crashed, we know that we only need to show a notification bar and do not need to notify content about the problem. Probably. At least that's what we currently do. I mean, we're just talking parity here. Maybe down the line we'll want to do something in content to say like, hey, are you curious as to why your video has stalled? But for now, I care about parity. That's parity, not parity. We know that we only need to show a notification bar. We don't need to notify content about the problem. So we can skip sending the message down with the run ID. The run ID is actually not useful in this case. Great. So I need to verify that GMP never displays inline. Let me ask Jessup about that again. So I'm going to go back to the E10S channel. Bring IRC back out front. I'll just straight up ask Jessup, hey, can I assume that GMPs will never display inline with inline, like will no type of GMP is rendered in a box, like rendered in layout in a object. Rendered layout in an object. Like Flash, that they're all behind the scenes, helping HTML5 element, video, HTML, helping media elements like video and audio. So, ask that question. I'm attempting to verify my assumption here that GMPs never display inline. We'll wait for that answer. While we're waiting for that answer, the try tree is now open. So, let me quickly do that thing to help Steven. So, if I have any changes on tip. Oh yeah, I'll just actually that stuff needs to go here and here. So 300. You get to watch some mercurial gymnastics. Are you ready for this? Commit, amend. I'm committing on a previous patch, which is going to like cause me to rebase the topmost patch on top of it, because now one of my commits is obsolete. So let's take a look. Evolve. So it's moving that patch that was on top properly, and we should be good to go there. Good. And now we'll check out 263.7.75. Push my silly little mercurial key patch with that try chooser message. Push to try. Try. And then I need to prepare the backout patch. That little this thing. My backout patch. Yes. It's this revision. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Have I lost my network? Oh, something crashed. I wonder if this is... Oh, my net crashed. I will submit a crash report. Okay, so that's good. I got my first try build. That's the baseline. This is with the patch still attached. So baseline. And back out will be, I'll pop that off, and then I will queue back out. Oh, wait, I'm in the wrong but I'm commenting here. And then I want to back that out. Queue back out. I don't know what this problem is. QImport BZ is having a problem, which is not the plugin I was just using. I have a feeling everything's okay. I was experiencing this problem before, but there's a lot of noise going on that next screen. It's kind of distracting. So my Q backout not work. HG diff. Okay, so like here's the backout. I just need to commit it. So I will back out, bug, this bug. Hit your head, and then I'll keep push. Great. Now I will push to try with the back out. Let's take a look at this link that it gives me. This is Tree Herder, and you can see it's building. It's now queued up. This is actually a build has started already on Linux 32-bit machine, and it's going to do the TSVGR tests, which is great. I better actually make sure that, like, I'm just assuming that things are sensical and TSVGR opacity is under the SVGR suite. I better make sure. I hate to, like, blow a lot of time waiting for this to build, and then, like, it turns out that for some reason TSVGR is somewhere else. That wouldn't be hugely sensical, but it's also, like, sometimes that nonsensicality happens. So let's take a look and see if there are. Actually, let's look at this assumption. I want to see TSVGR. What's this one? TSVGR opacity does run under S. S is SVGR. Yeah, okay. We're good. We are good. And here is the back out. Great. So, back out. When these have some runs, I will re-trigger some TSVGR runs after the first run has completed. And then use compare talus to see if there is a significant, a measurable improvement with the backup. If so, we can assume that somehow bug, what was the other bug? 1143057. 3057 is to blame for this regression. Okay, so that's done. Helped out Steven. Yeah. Oh. There's been conversation. Some tarot regressions. So I think I can just submit it. Okay, so that's done. I've helped Steven. Things, no, it's not go. We want today. So, done. No, I always erase, and that's because I use a new keyboard. I give myself a challenge. I use completely new hardware when I live hack, and I'm not used to it. I'm gonna get rid of that. We're gonna get back to that, and now we're back here. Did Jessup get back to my question? Yes, deep in the media pipelines. Great, thank you. So, assumption that we were curious about, confirmed by Jessup, who knows what he's talking about. Yep, confirmed. And I will. Great. So we can actually use this approach now. I don't have to use the run ID at all. Now I was worried about that because I wasn't able to access the run ID from that plugin crashed event. So that's good. What time have we? It's 2:24 according to my clock. I probably want to stop in about 6 minutes or so. I usually like to only do this for about an hour and a half. Let me think here. Is there anything else I can do in that 6 minutes that might be useful or interesting? Let me just check the live hacking channel. Wow, endurance. Jalen says he drifted off a bit. I'm sorry if I'm boring, Jalen. I'm sorry if I happen to, if my voice is so soothing that it's putting you all to sleep. Maybe I should do nighttime radio. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what would be a good thing to do for these last couple of minutes. And if I can't think of anything, maybe I'll just tap it. But let me just think here. Is there anything useful I can do? So maybe I'll just go over the plan again. I guess that's what I'll do. Like my question is determine what to do about Gecko Media plugins. I think I have done that. And this is the plan. So the plan is that whenever a Gecko Media plugin crash occurs, the parent process will know about it via the plugin crash observer notification. Oh, but there is a thing. There's a thing we need to do. When a GMP plugin crashes, keep calling it a GMP plugin. When a Gecko Media plugin crashes, make sure to pass along the fact that it's a GMP plugin. GMP plugin again, a Gecko Media plugin in the observer notification, so that the front end knows how to deal with it. Great. Danielle says this is her first time watching this. Quite enjoyable and relaxing. That's great news. I'm so happy that it's relaxing. Some people have said that maybe I should like pitch my live hacking stuff to the ASMR crowd because they might find just my constant chatter soothing. I don't know if that's true or not. If anyone out there knows about ASMR. What is it? ASMR. Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, which is basically like there are videos of people who like listen to really textured sounds, like people riffling pages in a book, or I don't know, scratching sandpaper or something like that, and that is like really soothing to people. And maybe I should pitch my live hacking stuff to them. So yeah, when a Gecko Media plugin crashes, make sure to pass along the fact that the Gecko Media plugin that it's a Gecko Media plugin in the observer notification. And where does that observer notification fire? That is where we can figure that out, and then I think I'll cap the string. So the question is, where does the plugin crash event notification? Sorry, not an event, observer notification occur. So let's find out. The observer notification is called plugin crashed, and it's probably going to come from C++ code. So yeah, it's right here. Now here's a question. I should probably, before I do this, I better make certain that that we actually do fire this notification for the GMP case. Because if we don't, my plan's kind of screwed. So how can I test that? We do have front-end code that responds to that observer notification. Where am I? I think I have to pop some stuff off. Let's strip off the back out. And then strip off the back out. And then switch to this. Okay. Great. Okay, so now my question is, does the observer notification fire whenever a GMP plugin crashes? I assume yes. If not, that's the next step. We have to make sure that thing happens, or I have to like regroup and figure out a new plan. So let's go back to that page that we were at where we had this thing. But I have to use a non-ETS window. Great, so I'm here, and then I open up the browser toolbox. Yes, I do want to connect. Wait for all the source to come down. think, so this is a pain in the butt. Sometimes all of the source doesn't come down. Like, this is definitely not all the source files for Firefox. I think there's some work. One of the problems with working on Nightly is that sometimes things break that you depend on, like DevTools. And, like, I don't blame them. DevTools, there's some brilliant people over there, and they're working really, really hard, but sometimes it's frustrating where, like, the tools that you rely on to do your work on Nightly are sometimes kind of broken. Plugin. So what do I care about? Browser plugins, which I think is actually just straight up loaded into June. It's like at compile time, it's included in here, and I think it's called G plugin handler. Yeah. And there's an observer notification, or an observer for the notification called plugin crashed. I think. Yeah, plugin crash observer. So if this gets hit when a GMP plugin crashes, we are in good shape. If not, back to the drawing board. So this is a cliffhanger. Will it happen? Maybe I'll just cap the stream here and then I'll tell you what happened next week. No, I would not be so torturous. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Okay, so require H264 video and start. And yes, I do want to share my camera. Hey! So we should now have a plugin container running, which we do. And now I'm going to kill it, quit. And do we hit the observer notification? No, we don't! We don't! Oh no! Okay, so the plan is not going to, it's not going to work. I'm going to have to come up with something else. I think what I'm going to have to do is figure out how... so for some reason, we bubble up the plugin crashed event in the GMP case, but we do not, but we don't fire the observer notification, which is really weird because usually one happens just before the other. We fire the observer notification, then we bubble up all those events. So how is the event getting bubbled up without firing the observer notification? And I think we can find that out from this bug, from Felipe's work, because I think this is the patch that actually added all of the code. So let's solve that mystery, and then let's call it a day. Actually, no, you know what? It's not this code that added. This code Felipe added just to react to the stuff that the platform is going to throw up. Is going to toss up that event. So there must be, yeah, add GMP plugin crashes to FHR crash reporting. That's interesting. Sandbox. Add crash measures, the crash measure with the proper type. That might be interesting. Determine whether G plugin handler needs to handle the GMP plugin crash notification. So there's actually, this is interesting. There might actually be a GMP plugin crash notification that I can use instead. That might save the day. That might save the day. Yeah! Yeah! Right here. What do we pass to it? What is temp? Temp is a string of data. Do we notify observers? What do we even do with that? What? GMP crashing. Let's read this. For non-GMP plugin crashes, a plugin crash observer service notification and a plugin crash DOM event fired in the page. Browser plugins ends up handling both in different ways. So this is like gold. Thank you, Drew, for writing this stuff up. This is exactly what I need to know right now. GMP plugin crashes is the same plugin crash DOM event. And he points, oh, I love sources. He points to the place in the code. Yeah. This is great. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But there's also, so I am going to bookmark this like crazy. This needs, oh. Drew explains everything here. Bold that. There's also a GMP plugin crash notification. G plugin handler already handles the plugin crash event, and due to that and bug 1024672, GMP crashes that are reported by this event now correctly trigger crash reporting UI and crash submission paths. Well, it should, anyway. The question is whether G plugin handler needs to observe the GMP plugin crash notification in the same way it observes plugin crash. I don't know why it observes plugin crash. Are there cases where plugin crash is broadcasted but plugin crash isn't fired? I think I know that answer. I think the answer to this question is in the case where we automatically send crash reports for plugins. That's what this observer notification does. No, we need to handle plugin crash for GMP only. They always go through peer connection, etc., which was the workable path that was found to actually add the crash details. Different code paths, right, but I don't know why they trigger different paths. Why do everything in the plugin crash listener wouldn't work? So close this bug then, close this bug. Plugin crash is always fired. Plugin crash is per live plugin element and not always fired. I think I should talk to G. Fritschke. Fritsch? I never know how to pronounce this guy's name. I need to talk to this fella and this fella to figure out how to proceed with this GMP case. Because I think they're the ones who know the answers to my questions. So I will interrogate them in IRC. If you're interested, I'm going to do this like right after the stream. Because I'm going to cap it right here. But like, if you're interested in following along with that conversation, I'll probably be having it in the #E10S IRC channel. If you're in Mibit, if you've been using the Mibit IRC client to talk, then if you type /join E10S like that, without a space in front of it, but if you, I've put it in the live hacking channel. If you type that, that will take you to the E10S channel, and you can see me like talking in there. I might also ask in, it's less likely, but I might ask in FX Team, and I've also in live hacking, I can just like drag this over. This is what you need to type. This is the stuff you need to type in order to get to those rooms if you're using Mibit. And that will, I think, open new tabs in the background. Mibit's kind of wacky, but it's an easy way to get on IRC. I think that's all I want to say. Okay, yes. So what did we do today? Let me just quickly recap. Let's take a look at our agenda. I did a bit of code review. I reviewed one patch, and I gave it an R+. I didn't review the other one because I thought that would take too long. I did some figuring out of stuff for this plugin crash stuff. I did a lot of explaining, and that actually helped me figure out stuff. That's the thing. When it's kind of like rubber duck debugging. When you explain a thing, it helps you understand the thing more, or at least helps you find the problems in your own understanding. So I actually find this live hacking really useful because it allows me to detect my own ignorance, and like because I can detect whenever I'm saying something that I really don't know whether or not it's true, and then I write that stuff down and then I find out, and that helps me then. So we did some of this, and then I helped Steven out with this, and that's it. So I'm capping it here. Thank you so much. Here, let me switch back to my face in a second. Actually, before I show you my face, if you have any feedback about this stream or about this show, let me know. Like, is there more stuff you want to see, or the things I could do better? Do you need me to change anything about like my font colors or size, or like anything I can do to make this more enjoyable? Let me know. You can talk to me in IRC and live hacking. I'm always in there. You can always contact me on Twitter. I'm Mike_Conley on Twitter. And I have a blog here if that's interesting to you. And I'll be doing this every week. So if this is your first time watching, welcome. Thanks for watching. And I'll be doing this again next week at 1 p.m. Eastern on Air Mozilla. We'll be working on other stuff, or maybe the same stuff. Who knows? We'll see how far I get on this plugin work. But if you're interested in following along even outside the stream, these notes that I link to in the agenda are live. Like I said before, these are a connection to these notes that I've been writing, and so if you're interested in like keeping current, just watch those notes periodically because they will expand as I add more stuff. Like it's like a Google Doc, except you can't write. You just get to consume as I write. So that's a lot of talking from me. Switching to my camera. Yay, we did it! Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you folks being an audience for this. I hope it's interesting. I hope you're getting something out of it. I'm getting stuff out of it, and so I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching The Joy of Coding. Take care. Bye-bye.